Good morning, everybody. We have a couple more errands to run before we can hit the road. Before we can head out of here, I need to clean up my workspace. The backyard where I rebuilt my engine is a mess right now. There's oil and tools and trash and all kinds of stuff because a wind dust storm came up and it blew everything out of the trash cans. I need to go clean that up. But then we are hitting the road and we are testing this engine for real. Now, before we actually get there and you guys see the state of this backyard, I just want it to be known, I was trying to clean up as I went. Everything was nice and organized at one point, and then a windstorm came through and just ripped everything to shreds. Stuff sort of blew around everywhere. And not all of this is mine. Some of this came from like neighbors' places and whatever, but I'm gonna leave their backyard cleaner than I found it. So you can see where I had my tarp laid down. You can see that like this part does not have dust blown on it because the tarp was protecting it. Everything else is just, this job calls for a very large trash bag. If you guys have been watching my channel for a long time, you remember that one of my goals was to get a little cabin out in New Mexico, out in the desert. If you guys have been watching my channel for a long time, you might remember that one of my goals was to get a little cabin out in the desert. The reason that I wanted to do that was so I could have a place to rebuild my engine. But the fact that I was able to use their backyard means I don't actually need the cabin in the desert. So I guess I checked that off my bucket list too. Everything is just sun bleached. Like that was a dark red when I got it. I do feel kind of bad because a bunch of the tools that I purchased for this job, they're super niche and specialized. Like this right here, this is a valve spring compressor. This is really only useful for compressing valve springs on the piston heads. Ring compressors like this to be able to put the pistons in. These are not things that I'm gonna be able to use, so I'm basically just forced to throw them away. Like there is not a situation, unless I'm just rebuilding another engine, where I'm gonna need something like this. And let me tell you, I do not plan on rebuilding another engine. Also, just something to note, I'm not sure if it came across in my videos, but it is a good thing I rebuilt my engine when it did. If you look at the bearings on the old one, you can see that there's a lot of wear on them. It's not too bad, but it's a good thing I got to this. And I also found that the gasket heads are starting to crack. If I would have let these on there for a couple more years, I probably would have had a head gasket leak. Don't get me wrong, replacing a head gasket is a lot easier than rebuilding an entire engine, so maybe what I did was a step too far, but I had fun and the car still works. That's what's important. I do sort of have a problem, is that I have a bunch of these parts and I'm not entirely sure where they go. They're just like, I know they were in my car at some point. I think I know where this goes, but it's not that important. This is a little bit more worrying. I have a lot of really big, thick, heavy bolts left over. I don't know where they're supposed to go. If I had to guess, I would say that the bolts are probably for the engine mounts, but I already bought new bolts for that, so it's probably fine. I'm gonna put all of the leftover bolts and stuff here on the table so you guys can see at the end of this how much stuff I still have left over. It is wild. I have been dreaming about doing this since probably my first car that I've owned. I honestly don't know how long that engine is gonna last, but the fact that I'm here right now, the fact that I did it, that I accomplished it, that car is running again, I don't know. It's a weird sort of ambivalence when you cross something off of your bucket list. Like, this is something that you're proud of. You've been planning it for a long time, you accomplished it, you feel good, but at the same time, you feel kind of like aimless. Like, what are you supposed to do now? This thing sucks because the wheels, they get caught in the dirt, so it doesn't want to move very well. I had this tip over on me while I was pulling the engine out. The engine smacked on the ground. Luckily, nothing in the engine broke. And honestly, considering I got it off Temu, I'm relatively impressed with it. A problem I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna solve yet. I have lots of really, really big boxes and I don't think they're gonna fit in my car anymore. Or at least I don't want them in my car because they're dirty. It is worth noting that this is scorpion, rattlesnake, black widow country. So when you're digging your hands in here to pick up trash, be careful not to get bit or stung. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it all boils down to. 4 trash bags and the end of a dream. These are the parts that came out of my car and never found their way back in. Some plastic trim pieces, 2 metal bars. These are probably for like holding things in case of a crash. We had a couple pieces of aluminum. These are probably heat shields. I know this goes to my engine and connects to my transaxle, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure these are bolts to my oil pan. I feel bad. I just spent all of that time cleaning my car, and now my car is gonna be filthy again. Let's see if these things even fit. Not easily. Get in there. My poor car. Now, we just take this to the city dump. Actually, I'm not gonna roll that window down because I don't want anything accidentally blowing out. Hey Google, take me to the city dump.
Continue on New Mexico 216 west for 1.5 miles.
I genuinely don't know how city dumps work. I don't know if I need to pay for this or if I can just like drop this off. I don't think I've ever done this before, honestly. Stop, wait for attendant. She said to go to number 11. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's just a big bucket. That was super easy. So I know it's like a public thing and profitability isn't like their objective. I just don't understand how they're able to let everybody just dump their shit here. I was expecting to have to pay like $5 a bag or something like that. I think this means we can hit the road. Oh shit, there is one thing we need to do before we head out. We need to fix this mirror. I did get the new one in the mail, so it's able to be replaced. Mirror. The mirror itself is just a piece of glass and it comes with these little sticky pads. You stick them on the back side, pull the old mirror off. Then you just stick the new one on. Yeah, that means that your mirror is probably held on with just stickers too. There we go. Now we can start. Let's have a fun little road trip and hope that the engine doesn't blow up. This is actually the first time the car has gone over 60 miles an hour since I rebuilt it. Not to be hyperbolic, but I think we might be driving into a dust storm. Yay, Roswell. Actually, we were on this same road about a year ago when I was driving to Alaska, and that's how I got that shit. UFO Museum. Roswell UFO Spacewalk, Bricktown Alien Attack, literally everything, Alien Zone. This might be one of the most touristy cities in America, actually, and I fucking love it. And there is the McDonald's with the UFO built into it. We've gone like 300 miles and the engine still sounds good. Okay, we've gone over 300 miles and this engine is still running good. That is a great sign. Yeah, no problems in the first 300 miles is a very strong sign that the engine is good. The only thing that'll cause this engine to break is if I've got like an oil leak and I run it low on oil. Also, I'm noticing that my power steering is not that great. I might need to fill that up. Okay, let's go do some inspections. We are not smoking anymore, so we've got the coolant leak fixed. I do see little drops coming from underneath my car. Let's see if I can find out what it's from. Oh, yeah, it looks like it's coming from right underneath the power steering pump. What is this guy doing here? I thought I heard a grinding sound underneath this wheel. Fucking tumbleweeds. I have power steering fluid on me, so we can fix that now. It just means that in the future, we're going to need to find out why it's leaking. That's not really a drivability concern. Like, the engine is fine. If I have to try a little harder to turn the steering wheel, I'm okay with that. It is a little bit ironic that I'm having to do this right now because I literally replaced the power steering pump because it was having these problems. There's a brand new pump in there and I'm still having to deal with this shit. I'm gonna try to get you guys down there so you can see what we're doing. Oh, yep, it is out of fluid. I'm mentally going through in my head reasons why I think the power steering pump might be leaking. It's possible that one of the two hoses that I plugged in there earlier I didn't put on tight enough. But I feel like if one of the hoses came off, all of the fluid would have leaked out. It wouldn't be like low, it would be empty. But this stuff is called power steering fluid with stop leak, so maybe it'll just like stop the leak. I have extra power steering fluid, I have extra coolant, I have extra oil. So any of the fluids, if they do have problems, I should be able to replace them on the road so I can get to a place where I can get a tow. But power steering fluid's not that big of a deal, so we're good. One of the most annoying parts of rebuilding my engine means my compression is good now, which means I'm back to using expensive gas. You know, it's actually not that expensive. $3.50 per gallon for 91 octane, that's okay. This is pretty damn solid, honestly. Still have a bunch of dust on my windows. Now that we put new fluid in, we need to cycle the fluid into the steering rack. What you do is you go all the way to the left, then you go all the way to the right. It should be getting easier, and it's not. We need to go investigate. If one of those hoses popped off, it's actually possible that we did lose all of the fluid, and all of the stuff that I poured in is just dripping onto the floor right now. Not a great sign. But I can tell that that is power steering fluid instead of car oil because it's clear. I can see the concrete underneath it. If that was oil, it would be dark and dirty. Yeah, that's power steering fluid. Okay, so for the time being, we are operating without power steering because I am not in the mood to figure out what's wrong with it. I have places to be. Oh, now my power steering is working. Yeah, like I said, when I put my foot on the gas, I can turn my car.
1,000 feet, merge onto US 285 North, US 84 West.
We are almost in Colorado. You can tell that things are getting a little bit greener. Okay, we are almost there. Great Sand Dunes National Park. The place that we're going to right now is called the Great Sand Dunes National Park. And if you've been watching my videos for like more than a year, you might remember that we tried to go here earlier, but I turned back when I saw that they had like a $20 admission fee because I didn't want to do DoorDash for like 3 hours. So we went to the park and then turned around, and then we ended up camping in that mountain right there. So we're coming back and we're actually doing it for real. Honestly, that mountain is kind of nostalgic. The cool thing this time, I don't actually need to pay the fee because I've got that Parks card. This guy. No fees at this time. Entrance fee will be charged if you leave the park and re-enter. Does that mean that the first time that I came here, I might have been able to come and then just not pay anything? I didn't get that far to be able to read the sign. I saw the prices before I got up to that point, and that's when I turned back. We are going to visit the visitor center. Let me see if I can show you guys this before the sun actually goes down. Holy fucking shit, those sand dunes are the size of mountains. That's where we're going. For the next 4 days, we are going out into the sand dunes. We're camping out there. We're gonna go camp like inside the sand dunes. We're going up to a creek over by the mountains over there. It's fucking cold though. We're at like 7,500 feet elevation right now, and winter just ended like 2 days ago. Well, the visitor center is closed, so I can't ask anybody questions. So I guess we're just gonna figure stuff out tomorrow when we're on the trail. I will grab one of these. These are probably important literature. Why are the dunes here? Wind, water, working the shapes of the mountains in the valley created the sand dunes. The design and location of the dune field is a result of erosion over time from the San Juan. This rift valley has provided the perfect location for vast quantities of sand deposits to funnel to this location. So we are right here, I believe. When we go camping tomorrow, we're going to go out here because the tallest one is like right here. We're going to camp here, and then we're going to go up. We're going to find a creek. And this is what we're going to be doing for the next week. Oh. This is what I want. I want fucking astrophotography like that. Yes, I already see a puddle under my car. I do believe that is power steering fluid. Really hope it's power steering fluid, because if it's oil, that's a problem. Okay, looking at my parking information, we need to go to the dunes parking lot. I did not realize how big these fucking sand dunes were when I was planning this. I was imagining walking through like some desert, some sand. Those are mountain-sized sand dunes. And I have a really heavy bag. I don't like walking through the sand on the beach when it's flat. Yeah, turning is really hard. Then we take the parking permits, we put them on the dash. And then this right here is the camping supplies we will use for the next week. Hopefully I brought enough food. Let's go get a closer look. Tonight should give me a good baseline for how cold it's gonna be while we're camping out on the dunes. Oh God, I already don't like walking on this. Holy fucking shit. And we're going all the way over there. Oh God, this is gonna be tragic. It's gonna be so cool camping on the top of one of these things though. Also, I can already tell that literally everything I own is gonna be covered in sand. Oh, let's pop the trunk and get some food. My car is a mess right now. God damn it, everything is, God damn it. Let's get some light up in here. You know what I haven't had since November? Car rice. I'm trying my hardest not to spill. I just realized the only water I actually have right now is the water that is in my backpack that I'm going to be taking on the hike with me tomorrow. So I've got to do it like this. We are actually the only people that reserved a spot here tonight. You can tell how many reservations are available and how many are taken. So that means we're gonna be the only car in the parking lot tonight, which makes me feel a little bit weird, but we have permits, so it's okay. There we go, the rice is done. Now we can add the chili and hot dogs. I left my regular spoon in the trunk and I don't want to go back out there to get it. There are people in the comments of my last video talking about how excited they are that I'm back inside Red Beans. Red Beans is my car. And underneath all of the comments of people talking about Red Beans, there's somebody underneath that asking why my car is called Red Beans. So I want to tell you guys a story. This is not my first car that you guys have seen on my channel. Before I had this car, I had another car that was almost identical, except it was blue. My last car was named Beans by the community. This car is very similar, it's red, that's why this is called Red Beans. The question then, why was my last car called Beans? And if you know the answer to that question, you are probably an OG, because a lot of people don't even know where that name came from. It's just like slithered into the community's vocabulary. So, before I tell you guys, just pat yourself on the back if you know the answer. The reason my last car was named Beans is because it was really, really shitty. I got it in a junkyard and it was in terrible shape. I had to use tape to hold the windows up because the insides of the window regulator, they were rusted out where the windows would just fall down. The inside of the gas tank was rusted out. The roof of the car was falling down. So in all of the vlogs that car was in, it was just me trying to fix problems that the car had, keeping the windows up, keeping the engine running, all kinds of problems. The reason that it was called Beans is because my exhaust kept popping off. My exhaust was not properly attached to the engine, to where anytime I would put my foot on the gas, the exhaust would like pop off and I would have like metal scraping on the ground. Why was my exhaust not attached? Not important. But it wasn't. So anytime I floored the gas, my exhaust would fall off. So for a bunch of my videos, I was trying to fix the exhaust. And in one of my videos, I put some wrap around it, I put some clamps on, I got in the car and I said to the camera that I'm gonna give it the beans. I'm gonna try to give my car the beans, floor it, and see if the exhaust pops. I took it on the interstate, I gave it the beans, and the exhaust popped off and sparks and all of that shit. And so the top comments were just like, no, don't give it the beans, no beans, no beans. And it just kind of like stuck, is that anytime that I would give that car the beans, the exhaust would fall off. This car does not have that problem. I think that the name Red Beans is kind of insulting because this car is way better than Beans. Beans got the name because it was shitty and fell apart. This car is fucking insanely solid. Like, I ripped the engine out in the middle of the desert, didn't know what I was doing, fucked with it, put it back in, and we just drove 300 miles. This is not Beans. I think the only reason that name stuck is because of a girl named Angel. She is like the top commenter on all of my stuff on YouTube, on Reddit, on Instagram, just like everything. And she calls it Red Beans, to where she comments on something and then all of the rest of the community, they see her post and they think that the name is Red Beans, but it's not. She just calls it that and she's gotten everybody to think that that's the name of this car. She has unilaterally named my car. So Angel, if you're watching this, props. I guess this car is named Red Beans now. Now, there's one thing I want to do before we close out the vlog, and that is I want to show you where we drove today. In some of my videos, you've seen me do that. You've seen me show like a little infographic map showing like where we went. The reason I don't do that very often is because I was editing on this laptop. This laptop is great, but it does not have the RAM to be able to do effects like that. Now that I'm editing on a new laptop, I can do that. At the end of each of these, I want to show you where we actually went so that you guys can get an idea of how like far we're actually driving. So, we started today in Carlsbad, New Mexico. That's where I've been rebuilding my engine, and we went up through Roswell, up into Santa Fe, and now we are here at the Great Sand Dunes. I think that's like 350 miles, 400 miles, something like that. That's one of the primary reasons I upgraded my laptop, is just so I could get more RAM. There are a bunch of different laptops I could have chosen. I know that there's like an M3, there's the M4 Airs that just got dropped, but I could probably make a video talking specifically about why I chose this laptop in particular, but suffice it to say, now I'm able to do those little maps.